Today on the Tim Marner podcast show, I've got Sierra and Justin from Topic of Discussion. TOD, motherfuckers.
Sure.
Where's it come from, this topic of discussion? Tell people where it came from.
Well, we were somewhat new to the country, and we wanted to start a business, and we thought about different things, and we got kids, so we came across a clothing line to start. But again, we wanted to target the youth, target the kids, young adults, and we also wanted it to be more than a clothing line. So we said, let's try. Well, what we did think about was that everyone goes through issues, problems, stuff like that. So we said, let's target that, and that was pretty much how we came about. Yeah,
I think it came more from like our personal experiences. We knew that we wanted to sell clothes, but we also wanted to make it personal to us. And we noticed, like myself, I went through something with my father when I was really young, and then my mom and I don't have like a good relationship. We don't even really speak at all. And I feel like my story was similar to a lot of other people's stories, and I felt
What is that story? Have you ever told me that story?
I did. I'll tell you. It's fine.
No, you've told me a little bit, but I don't know if you've really got into it where we've...
Yeah. So when I was 15, my father was the first person to sexually assault me. But at that time, he's also the one that raised me. He did it one time, and so it was a whole court case. I got pulled out of school.
At 15, this happened, and what did you do when that happened to you? Did you go within yourself and what's it, or the Sierra I know, did you go and fucking tell everybody and like, what this has happened to me?
So no, I at first I boxed it in because I didn't have like many people who would believe me. Firstly, my mom was in family services, so that's like, I think you guys call it social services. So had I said anything, I probably would have gotten taken from my family and been put into a foster care or like I guess a home, a girl's home. I didn't want that. So I kind of bottled it up. What happened was one of my dad's boss actually told my dad that he had saw me with a boy. I had packed groceries at the grocery market, and I was taking out bags of groceries, but I must have took out a man's bag, and so my dad's boss told my dad that I was talking with boys outside the grocery store. So my dad thought it would be a good idea to take me home and give me the sex talk conversation. And from there, it just went to like, I guess, more in-depth teachings. After that happened...
15?
Yeah. I was just packing groceries. Good Christ, you take the cart out to their car, you unload the car. You unload the groceries into the car, and you come back in. But my dad's boss must have felt like I was talking to boys. He told my dad that. My dad being a single dad, my mom not around, he felt his way of teaching was... He's also Portuguese, and they feel like culturally the parents are the first people to like expose you to sex. Crazy shit, I don't know. But so basically after it all happened, I literally went to school like nothing happened. Then one day my dad's boss again said, "Oh, I saw your daughter outside with another boy." So didn't get a lesson that time. I got a punch in my face. I called my mom and I called 911. And from there, that's kind of how it got exposed, because my dad's teaching was abuse, or, hitting and punching. I had had enough at that point because I knew that was wrong. I called my mom, I called 911, the police came, my mom came. I still had not told them at that point, but I was sleeping at my mom's house and I was sleep talking, and I brought it up in my sleep. My mom recorded me took me to the police.
Holy shit.
Yeah, she took me to the police. And from there, I let it all out because I'm not necessarily the best liar. I can hold stuff in, but I can't necessarily lie. So told the police. It ended up being a whole court case. And to be honest, I was more mad at my mom because my father was the one that was there for me for day one. He was paying my mom's bills, keeping a roof over her head. I lived with my mom till I was about 9. But my dad was there for me every single day. He was the one making sure that we had everything. So even though he made that one mistake, to be honest, my mom had made 10 times even more. And just making bad decisions, I want to say. So I was more rebellious towards her for even using that as a way to get her kids back. So she used that experience, which rightfully so. He should not have done that. I don't condone what he done at all. But the way that she went about it, she kind of used that as, okay, now I'm going to get my kids back, because she signed over her rights to my father for me and my sister. And my sister's not my dad's kids, but financially she needed his financial help. So she signed over the rights to her kids to my father. So when she was ready, she used that as an excuse to get us back. And that court case went on for like 7 years, 7 years. It was like trauma. So I got pulled out of school, and I just became like a rebellious kid. I didn't talk to no one. I didn't, they said, oh, you need to go counseling. I was like, fuck you, I'm not going counseling. I can handle my own shit. And I just ended up getting a job at 15. And I was like, I went from packing groceries to being a cashier. And I became independent. And then to my stupidness, end up paying my mom's bill. So between both of my parents, I didn't have the best upbringing at all. My friends, they all had...
Really dysfunctional, isn't it?
Yeah, very,
the manipulative side of your psychological side of your mum, and then the physical
using
side
a man
of
for
your dad.
child
Holy
support,
shit.
and
It's
then...
crazy.
Yeah, it was just very toxic, both of them. I guess one not better than the other. But I will say, if it wasn't for my father, providing for us, I would have been in a worse case. Because my brother, who wasn't my father's kid, he ended up in foster care, in the boys' home, in the military, doing different things. He ended up much worse. So in me knowing that, I was like, I can appreciate my father a little more. I can't understand why he done what he done, but I can appreciate that, I could have been in a worst case scenario. So that's what keeps me grounded in my head. That's why I didn't let it defeat me. I know a lot of people that go through sexual abuse, they're very defeated.
Yeah.
They never get over it, and they carry it on into their adulthood. I felt like for me, I could not use that as an excuse. So with that being said, the clothing line was more personal to me, because I feel like you see parents all the time that are neglecting their kids, abusing their kids. They keep having kids and they can't take care of one kid. They're on the system and they're not working and they still have more kids, or you got 4 or 5 baby dads and they're all paying child support and still having more kids. And there's so many people out there, or there's so many children, I should say, out there that are being abused by the education system and by their parents. Yeah. Abused and neglected, I will say. And so a topic of discussion came about because I didn't want to just sell clothes. I wanted to have a message. I wanted to help people. I wanted to let children know that, the education and your parents may be doing you wrong, but once you get 18, you can kick them in the ass and do what you need to do for yourself. You need to, use your troubles as a way to get ahead. So,
no one's talking, are they? They're all bottling up, and this is what COD's about.
Yeah, we're trying to build a safe place. Trying to build this safe place so people could open up and vent, You know, I know even with my experience, now even, well, been heard of Sierras, but
Should we share a bit of yours?
yeah, mine's is a little different, but
It's a little different.
definitely
I
a little
hope it's
different.
a
I know,
lot
right?
different.
I come from a small family.
Yeah.
I'm an only child. I didn't have no brothers or sisters.
Yeah.
My mom even had just one brother. My dad had a few brothers and
There's
sisters.
only
But
children.
we come from a church surrounding, a real Christian, like we was Jehovah's Witnesses. My dad and my mom, but my dad per se was very deep into Stelius. And he had this perspective of what he wanted his family to be in line with Jehovah and the whole religion. And I was a kid, and he used to put so much pressure on me, even speaking in front of hundreds of people. I was about 7, 8, and was able to speak in front of 300, 500 people, 700 people, depending on how many people came. And it was a lot of pressure as a kid, learning, trying to do homework, but then also having to learn certain studies that was in line with that religion. So it put a lot of pressure. They didn't celebrate any holidays. So I stood out as a kid, not being able to color Santa Claus on certain activities in class, or couldn't do trick-or-treating, you know.
So as a Jehovah's Witness, you still go to a school with other kids who are...
Yeah, we didn't have, like, I wish we did, I think at that time. We had, we would go to public school or private school, you know, but with other different religious people or non-religion, religious people. But again, if it was anything, any activity to do with any holidays or anything that they wouldn't approve of, you couldn't have any part of it. And they made that very clear. You know, the minute you did do, you would be in some sort of trouble. Like, so my dad used
Like,
to...
what's trouble? What is that? What is
Well,
that? Is
like,
that punishment, or is it, what is it?
It's almost like a verbal punishment, I want to say, but it's so deep that they used to bring you in like a room like this, per se. Like, and even when I got older, you know, you couldn't talk to girls, or you couldn't hang around certain people that didn't go to this Kingdom Hall. So the minute someone from there saw you, they would go run back to what we call the elders. Now, the elders are like the more higher up. They oversee all the Jehovah's Witnesses that goes to these Kingdom Halls or congregations. So again, I was, I guess, hanging around a neighborhood friend, someone I actually went to school with, but he didn't have the best background, but at the same time, someone saw me, and they ran back to my dad. My dad he was an elder himself, but he ran back to his group of elders. They put me in a room like this. Pretty much it was 2 elders sitting over there, me, and my mom was in there for part of it, and basically interrogated me on what I was doing, what I was speaking about, what I was talking about. It got kind of scary as it got on, but it happened so many times that I even knew I need to get out of here. By 13, I knew I needed to part ways, but it's so hard to part ways when you're talking about you're 13 and you live with your parents, that both of them go. And it took me to get about 15, and I was literally just had enough. But my dad was ready to say, basically, well, if you don't want to go, you have to move out.
And they disown you.
And they disown you completely. So I didn't know what that was. I ended up doing research about it, and I come to find out it was like a spiritual abuse type of thing. But before that, I had friends that used to go through this, and we all used to talk about it, but we could only talk about it for so long or so much before someone would come around and everybody would have to be quiet, because nobody wants to get in trouble for going against our religious beliefs. So again, I had a friend that he had enough as well, and he got kicked out. But before he got kicked out, his parents, he was living under the same roof as his parents, but no one speaking to him.
No one's talking to him.
Not speaking to him, cooking breakfast,
But nobody's allowed to talk to him.
Yep. Walk across. Hey, mom. Nothing. Can I get some breakfast? Can I get this? Here you go. Wow. No dialogue. So that played on him until he got to an adult. He ended up moving out. And basically he moved away. They still didn't keep in contact with him. And because you grow up in there, you have a lot of friends, you have a lot of people that you used to speak to. The whole congregation stopped speaking to you. Let's go there. So it's not just his parents. The parents are just going along with the rules. So again, this happened to me where my mom she had a lot of love for me. So she would break the rules now and then and look, here's a little money, or here, look, let's hang out. Don't tell your dad, type of thing. But my dad was just very stern. So it got to a point where you just have to move out, but they discern you completely and don't want to have much conversation with you besides that. So over the years, I felt it played on my character a lot, and it's still to this day. Me and my dad have this distant relationship to whereas it's like nothing's happened, but we haven't gotten close like a whole father-son should be, because his love is pretty much conditioned through religion, if that makes any sense.
Yeah.
So like he keeps in contact with me more or less because he knows I'm married to Sierra and we have kids. So his conversation, how's the girls? It's never how's me. How you doing?
How does that make you feel? How do you come to terms with something like that?
Like it's weird because this is the first time I'm really talking about it. But yeah, it hurts. It hurts a lot.
What was the love before, Justin? While you was in the religion?
I was the only child. I was the prodigy child. I was the greatest little son coming up because of like 7 years old. He had me praying.
Conditions.
Yeah, it was a different. I was in a different place, I guess. I was young. I wasn't understanding a lot of stuff, but I was just doing it to be obedient, more or less, just to be that obedient child. So if he asks me to do something, I'll do it. Oh, I need you to be a part of this service, or I need you to read off these scriptures in front of these people. I need you to, on a Saturday, knock on doors and preach the word. And so I was doing that every Saturday. I never really got to play football or do certain activities and whatnot. So I lost a lot of that. I was good at it, but I never got to, increase my skill in any type of extra curriculum, because that was my thing that I had to do on the weekend: Saturday, Sunday, Tuesdays, Thursdays. So, and the other days was more or less for homework and rest time, or preparing for those other days where I had to be at the congregation. So it was very hard, And again, like, it's our relationship.
Tell me about leaving. How did you leave then?
Leaving made it somewhat easy.
But how did you leave? What, did you pack your bags through the night, or?
Well, see, my grandparents, we lived in a homestead, and I used to stay on the bottom of the house with my family. My grandpa and my nana used to stay above. They owned the house. And I basically came to them and told them, like, I'm going through it with my dad. I don't want to go to the Kingdom Hall anymore. They didn't go to the Kingdom. They wasn't a part of the religion in any way.
But you still lived in the cellar?
I still lived under the bottom with them.
Basement, cellar, what? Right?
No, it was just a bottom apartment.
Right, okay.
2-bedroom apartment, but I had my own room. They had their own room, but I was under
so
his room.
Your grandparents were Jehovah's Witnesses?
No, not at all.
Right.
So they understood my pain a little bit. So what my grandpa did was move me out and put me in his mother's house, which was my great nana, but I was a little bit further away. But I had to do this because if I didn't go to the Kingdom Hall and I didn't want to be a part of that religion, my dad couldn't move further in the religion.
Religion was more important.
So he was like, fine, but you have to get out my house. Now, my grandpa wasn't going to let me be out on the streets.
Yeah.
You know, my mom even didn't, but she just didn't. She was very passive, very quiet, easygoing woman. My dad is more aggressive. So she didn't want to go against him anyway. But she knew, like, go talk to my parents. Go talk to your grandparents and see if you could work something out. Maybe stay in with them. But they was like, cool, let's put you over here, away from him, per se. So I ended up growing up for like 2 years in my own little apartment. I was 17 going 18 and got my car, got my bike and all that, got a job and got on my feet on my own. Then I wanted to come back to the homestead, per se. But yeah, he wasn't for it at all, because now, actually, let me rewind a little bit. When I was leaving, because I left, he had to step down from being an elder. Because his household no longer is pure.
Oh my fucking God, man.
Yeah, so that was the whole that was the pushing of, let's get out, let's get him out so I can get back to my position. It was all about
So you basically dirtied the household?
Yes.
Wow.
You have to go YouTube former Jehovah's
Witnesses.
stories.
Yeah, it's so many.
Many commit suicide. So many.
Yeah, I had a friend that committed
Depression
suicide.
of it,
you know? He didn't know. He wanted to be accepted so bad that he went from changed his gender. He to get accepted, and he said all of this, and then he didn't get around the right people. He was trying to clamor for his mama, and he was a very mama's boy, but he was trying to get the attention from his mama and just couldn't. The dad didn't want to have nothing to do with him, and he had brothers and sisters, and they were still going, but everybody just disowned him. So he ended up moving to the States, and then like years later, he ended up committing suicide. Sent him a letter and told him, explained everything to him, like pretty much what I'm saying to you. And then you just never heard from him. You just found him dead in his apartment as a woman.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's a lot of
religious abuse is a real thing.
It's crazy.
I know.
So
parents pushing religion on you is religious abuse. If you don't want to be of a specific religion, you should not be forced to do it.
Yeah, it's so many times you see abuse. God takes people as you are, but the parents sometimes are pushing the issue so hard. Like, I didn't know what that was or what it was called probably from maybe a year or two ago, and was like, let me just go on YouTube to see if anyone's even going through anything what I've been through. And I saw different situations, worse, some not as bad, but it all ended up in the same category as like parents disowning you, not speaking to you. And naturally, as a kid, you want your parents' approval or, validation, something from them, that's you're living with them every day. And then the minute you make your own decision, you're going against everything, So it's completely cut off, and they cut you off within a day. It doesn't go gradually. They give you all you shouldn't do it, no, please don't do it. Once they announce this at the Kingdom Hall, and it's like an evening, they do it 7 o'clock-ish, because they know everywhere around the world does it around this time. And once that announcement's made, when they come back home, it's over. You made your decision. It's done. So some parents make you move out within a week or a month or so. Some cut you off immediately and basically prepared because they knew, well, you're not going to change your mind. So let's make preparation now so our household doesn't become impure like how mine did. So the same way, my dad was like, okay, you're really deciding to do this? Okay, you have to get out. But I was 17 and I was going 18 in the summer. This happened like the beginning of the year. I was battling backwards and forwards where I was going to stay. I ended up staying upstairs with my grandparents for maybe like a month or so before preparing this little apartment for myself. But I felt the feeling almost run over my body that that evening that my parents are no longer are gonna have anything to do with me. Like, and again, being an only child, it's not like I had brothers and sisters to lean on or to ask, or maybe one of them might have went through this already. I didn't have no one to vent to. None of my friends from the school would understand what I was going through. So it was other kids that went to the Kingdom Hall that was going through it, but didn't want to talk about it because, no, you're going to get me in trouble. You're going to get me kicked out. Like, if I talk to you, if someone sees me.
What CLD's about, innit?
Yeah.
So it was easy to bottle it up. I don't know what it is. I don't understand it.
Yeah.
But I have to deal with it. So, okay, at least my grandparents moved me out. So, okay, let me just bury my head and work. Let me get this new life of being in the world. Because once you're in there, you're in like a bubble. You're in their world. Because they want you only to associate with them, hang out with them. Don't do anything else without them included.
What's the vision? What is the Jehovah's Witness vision?
Basically,
what is it? Because they come round your house, don't they, knock on the door and...
Yeah, I know. They basically preached...
I call it a cult, honestly.
A lot of people do.
Fine.
Yeah, and when you define what they're doing, it lines it up with being a cult.
Yeah.
So...
what are they doing? What they want me to do when they knock on the door?
They want you to get in line with their beliefs and the way they do things.
If I let them in, what are they going to do? Are they going to sit?
They're going to study. They're going to try and push a study on you.
You've obviously never answered the door.
I'm saying no, I'm all right. I mean, you said Jehovah's Witness, but I don't know what it is. I'm like, I'm all right. I think they were selling me something. Are they selling me something?
They're just basically preaching their word to you. So they want to study with you, get you in line, invite you to the Kingdom Hall. Obviously, if you like it, then you will come again. But then they'll keep studying with you until you get baptized. Once you get baptized, you're in. And getting out is going to be the harder part.
So are they preying on the vulnerable? Because I do remember my grandma letting them in twice, I think. But she's just sat there making them scones and tea and coffee. Just chatting like... She ain't got a clue what's going on, like.
Yeah, right.
But they're looking for...
Basically, more people.
Someone whose identity's not been formed, or it's been shifted, or something's happened with the life where I don't know where I am, I'm lost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, then they will take anybody on. You know?
Anybody.
You know, that they're knocking on every door. So they don't know who's going to come to the door. But at the same time, they would preach. And if you eat that up and you sound interested, you're going to get an invitation to the Kingdom Hall, where it's like a 2-hour service. And then sometimes people get very interested and want to come back. And when you do, they study with you in between of that, and then eventually you'll get baptized. And once you're baptized, you become a brother or a sister. And from there is when you're supposed to be in line with how everything is, because the minute you don't, it is even like if I was going to the Kingdom Hall, for example, and Sierra wasn't, they would have a problem with that. You know, if Sierra was going to the Kingdom Hall and I was, we both were, and I did something out of line, I don't know, smoked something, she could go run back and tell them, get me in trouble. But then, now the household's unpure. Now what?
Crazy.
So it creates it creates a whole lot of different little issues. But again, it plays on your character, your thinking, everything, to the point where if you're smart, you really need to disconnect yourself from it. But it's so hard when you're talking about you got family involved.
Fucking hell, yeah.
You know?
I mean, you've been sort of fortunate having your grandparents upstairs that have kind of done that. Imagine if somebody had nothing.
Right, and I'm seeing people where grown men, like older than me even, that's still to this day confused on they're in, they're out, they're in and they really want to be out. So I've been in situations where people that go to the kingdom, yo, how is it like being outside? Like,
they call it like the outside world. It's like
they call it the world.
We're all
they're the
people.
Truth. They call it the truth. The truth. But when you leave or get this fellowship, that's the term. When you get kicked out, you get this fellowship. they're in the world now. So
It's
a lot
like,
of people
what
that's
makes you
curious,
different than us? Seriously.
the only thing you're doing is going to the Kingdom Hall. That's it, really.
Because
but
as Christians, we call each other brother and sisters without being baptized. That's just what we are, right? I'm Roman Catholic, still Christianity, but we're all brothers and sisters. But in their religion, you're only brothers and sisters once you've been baptized. It's like,
once you're fully in, you
like-
know, and because that's the official, almost initiation.
Yeah.
So
It's a cult, that.
yeah.
yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I
Thank
hate when I was younger. I was like, I didn't like that term, and people
Yeah.
used to call it, but it's like I had to come grips with myself. Like, that's the definition. That's
Yeah, that's
what
the
it is,
definition
you know.
of it.
So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
it leads all to that. And
Have you managed to forgive your dad?
I have.
And how do you do that?
Accept him for
I
who
just
he
literally,
is.
I just love him from a distance, more or less. It's, like I said, it's not the relationship of a true father and son. We're working on a car together, or we're kicking the ball backwards and forwards. Like we had that when I was younger, but again, immediately when I made my decision, all of that cut off. Now I did that at 17, 18, so certain things we didn't have to do together. But even maybe going out and having a drink, no. Because he can't be seen with someone that's disfellowshipped, even though I'm his son. They will question him and ask him, basically, why are you having recreational fun with a disfellowshipped member?
Do you think he still loves you?
Yes, of course
He
does.
does.
He uses us to speak to Justin. He doesn't speak to any of us, but he speaks to Justin.
Yeah.
But he uses us
Yeah,
as
you know.
So I think it's just his way of love is,
Because he knows he can't get too close,
yeah.
because eventually it will get questioned.
Holy shit. What
Craziness.
a fucking shame.
You know, so,
Yeah.
you know.
He's going to miss out on some fucking sick shit, isn't he?
I know, right? yeah.
With that, TOD is like, because we
experiences.
have these experiences,
Yeah.
we use these experiences
You
to
set us up
just,
from trauma, aren't you, basically?
yeah.
And that's the purpose, man,
Yeah.
getting people talking.
Yeah. And then I
Right.
feel like when we came out here, the first thing we noticed is that the education system is so far departed from parenting. Parents have absolutely no control or no idea of what the children are doing in school.
Yeah.
And you drop your kids off, you get your report card every 3 months, and that's your only obligation for your kid in school. And I mean, back home, homework's not done, that school's calling you, you need to come to your school, come get your child and sort them out. They don't have supplies, you're calling the parent. Like, the parents are very much, it might be, we thought it was annoying back then, but being
Yeah,
out here
okay.
and not even being able to message the teacher to say, hey, how's my kid doing in school, or how's my kid doing in class?
You have to
Yeah.
wait.
And then they get detentions without them even running it. My daughter gets a detention for no homework. She submitted the homework, but apparently she didn't do the homework, so she gets a detention. So regardless of what I have planned for my daughter after school, the school is taking her. They don't care about the parent at all.
Yeah.
And let's not go there with these bathroom breaks, because honestly, when we get enough money, when this business really gets enough money, I am hiring the top solicitor
Yeah.
to take to challenge these education
rules.
these policies.
Yeah,
I
these
call them
policies,
the
yeah.
image-based policies.
Well, the crazy, I mean, my girlfriend's son, she's had to message him to get a bathroom pass.
Yeah.
He drinks a lot of water, and he's literally in that
Yes.
much pain.
Can I
and he's
just
got
say-
so much anxiety, but he can't go to the toilet. She's had to do that, and now he's got a bathroom pass.
Do you
and
realise-
the stress has been taken off him? You can see it in his face.
Yeah.
He's only 11.
You realize the bathrooms in the restroom is a basic human right? Why are these
Yeah, they
teachers
have to need
allowed
permission.
to even neglect? Firstly, these children are sent through each year regardless of their academic ability, whether they know the information or not. You're
Yeah, pushed
sending
through.
them to the next year anyway.
Yeah.
So why aren't these teachers held to a grade point average? Yet these children have to look in tip-top shape. Their hair can't be too short. They can't have bows on the socks, no earrings, and My daughter, she's 14. She went home back to Bermuda over the summer to see her dad. She came back with a tattoo. Her high school was telling me, oh, she's going against the policy. She can be expelled. I had to have a whole meeting with that school. I said, let me tell you something. Her grades are amazing. Yeah. If you're going to kick my daughter out of school over a tattoo that I cannot remove, I will blast you across all the media outlets. It's ridiculous. Yeah. And then what about the little boy that got sent to him a few weeks ago because he has eczema and his hair was too low? I said, are you fucking joking?
Really?
Yeah, I read the news. Like, I'm a news hawk. I'm a news hawk. I read the news every day. I read every new channel I can find. I read, and these kids are getting sent home for what they look like. I call them image-based. I'm one in the comments on Manchester Evening News. Oh yeah, image-based policies. That's me all day. And I'm like, you're sending these kids home for what they look like, but are you making sure that they know the information? You're neglecting them at the toilet, but you're going to push them through the next year anyway. So let them use the restroom. When you walk in the national health centers all around, they have these little leaflets. And it says 1 in 3 Brits suffer from stomach problems. And I'm like, don't you think it starts from when they're young and they can't even use the toilet? What about all the little girls that are on their periods and all of that, little boys that have their moments and they need to use the toilet? Yeah. And then you got teachers in the news that's blasting about, oh, I give 5 passes for the month, 5 toilet passes for the month. I said, that's less than 1 a day. And they say, oh, well, they're expected to use the toilet on their lunch or their breaks. And I'm like, so all 200-300 children that are in that school have to use the toilet in a break. I'm like, who is allowing this? Why isn't this on national news? Why isn't this past England? Why isn't other parts of the world not seeing the ridiculousness that goes on? Because as good as England is, the school system is very far detached from reality. Very far detached. It doesn't matter the grade. They just need to look proper. And I'm like, are you joking? Do you see why you have so many people on universal credit? Or do you see why there's so many homeless people? Because we're not worrying about what their academic ability is. We just want to make sure they look great.
Appearance.
It's like, what? It makes no sense.
How are you going to get this message out there, Sierra?
Keep running my mouth, I guess. No, I mean, we're working.
I mean, look at us three. We're chatting here, and this is what the topic of discussion's about.
I know.
Yeah. Listen, the clothing brand side of it is just people buying into it because they like you.
Yeah.
But you need. I'm very, very insistent on you both in getting you on this podcast.
What's
you know,
I honestly
look how passionate you get, mate, and what's it. This is your power. This is your genius. If that's your genius, that's what you need to be doing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How many times have I told you about doing a podcast?
I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I told you I can't get the shit connected.
You didn't want to talk.
I know, I did.
And then next thing you know, it's just like it's fucking powerful shit, brother.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah, someone has to speak up for these young people because the generations are failing every year, every time you look. I mean, nowadays when you're 18, you don't want to go get your license and drive a car. You want lip fillers and breast and Botox and you know, it's crazy. It's like we're so far detached from reality, but the schools make you look like that. The schools make you like that because the schools want you to look away more than they want you to be educated.
Express yourself.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
You need to express yourself. Everybody needs to express themselves.
Yeah. It's crazy, but yeah, I know. So we do intend to do the podcast. I really need to learn how to put it all together. I've gotten all the equipment.
What would you tell you? Me and Sean will tell you.
Okay.
Yeah, we need a little assistance, but
fucking right. It's easy, man.
We're definitely ready.
It's easier with
man.
you.
You are definitely ready.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I started off on a webcam and then went to something else and then just built up like this. But honestly, people make it a lot harder than it is, and it's not.
I feel like we just we make it harder.
You can do like if you're
thinking about it too much and we need this, we need that. I need to be in the right mind.
Paralysis by analysis. Overthinking stuff, you end up not doing anything because
Yeah.
you're overthinking it.
Yeah.
Yes, I've even bought the subscription for Poet Being Okay. I just need to do it.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's
so
serious.
that's our intention, to speak about it. We're working with Place to Be. They've been very patient with us, and we've been directing people to the website when they need help. You don't need to tell your parents. You don't need to tell the school. You can contact them and they will help you without anyone knowing per se, you know. And it's just about getting these young people to know that they actually are past the barriers that's put on them. They can move further than what they're told. You know, you don't have to stay within the limitations. Sometimes you have to challenge these policies. You have to challenge the rules or the restrictions that's put upon you, because you've been given these restrictions to keep you in this little box.
True.
You know
Break
what?
out that box.
We did a video the other day for, and the question was, what would you tell your younger self? And mine was, question everything.
Yeah, 100%.
Question everything. No matter who it comes from, ask them the question.
Yeah.
Do your research, get into it, and then just kind of go, it's not right, that.
I feel
It's like
if I
with
would've
our
did that-
children,
Yeah.
with our children, it's like he likes to have rules, which obviously all children need
Yeah.
rules. But I'm the parent behind him, like, break through those rules, don't listen, don't, you know. And it's
Yeah.
like it creates some balance between our kids.
Yeah.
But I'm like, you know, yes, you definitely need rules. You need,
Yeah.
but they're built to keep you in line for how that person or that company or that school wants you to act. Like, fuck that. Like, do what your best ability is. Like, you know, push those barriers so you can get further. And then, you know, if terrible things have happened to you, a victim of anything, don't let that eat you up, because you're only being eaten up for as long as you allow yourself. Once it's happened to you, the moment that it's finished happening to you, you are now responsible for your own repair. You are now responsible for getting over it, moving forward, getting the help. You know, you can't just stay stagnant and using that as an excuse on why you can't move forward. You know, I have one friend, we haven't spoken in years, we just started speaking, and she's in the same place as she was before, using the exact same excuses. And I'm like, it's hard for me to resonate with that, because it's like, it's really an excuse. You're an adult. Go and get the help. Go and seek therapy. Go and, like, let's stop using anxiety. Let's stop using depression. Let's stop using PTSD for an excuse for everything. We're all stressed the fuck out. We all have more than we can burden. You have to actually be able to, you know, hit life with a bat and keep going. You have to keep pushing and, you know, just quit with these excuses. I feel like the system builds you to make excuses for stuff, and it's the most successful people find no excuse.
Yeah.
There's a lot of victims out there, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean,
they
we're
love
all
it,
victims.
love that hit from the victim.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, can I just say this? My one pet peeve about out here, I'm a mom, I don't work. And I'm like, what the fuck? How can you be a parent and you're talking about you don't work? Like, how is that even possible? Like, I just don't understand it. And they have 3, 4, 5 kids. And I'm like, how does the government keep funding you? Like, why after the first kid? I understand the first kid, you know, you get stuck, whatever, government's helping you, not a problem. But how did you get the second kid? You know, they're paying for your schooling, they're feeding you, they're doing all of this, and you can't get a job. You don't have time to go get a job. They even pay for a babysitter for people that's on universal credit. And I mean, not to offend anyone, but I mean, doesn't the government system see that is why you have such an issue on your hand? Because people know, I just keep popping out kids and they're going to pay for everything. It bothers me. It's like, you know, as an adult, at some point you have an obligation to fund yourself. You know, take care of yourself. Stop having kids if you cannot support these kids. We were dropping our daughter off, and one that they're 4 and they're not potty trained yet. And the lady says, I have 3 other kids at home. I don't have time to potty train. I say, what? Your child is 4 years old and they don't know how to use the toilet on their own? I mean, And you're saying that the school is responsible for teaching them this? So as a parent, what the hell are you responsible for? Because I thought potty training was the parents' job. You know? It's so many things where I feel like
Needs to be.
people are too laid back. They've been given so much, they don't even realize how much they've been given. It's crazy.
You know, you're not allowed to say that, Sarah.
Pardon me?
You're not allowed to say that. People will be like,
Oh, I know.
she
I
can't
don't
say
care.
that.
I don't
I
care.
fucking know that.
Yeah.
I don't care because it happens so much. And then you see the moms outside. So I know not every dad's a great dad. I'm hands down. I know that. But if the dad's gonna come to the school for the 5 minutes in the morning to see their kid off, even though they haven't been there all week, we had one parent that was effing off her baby daddy in front of all the parents, in front of everybody, right outside the school because he's a deadbeat. He don't do this, he don't do that, but he was there in the morning just to give his kid a little kiss and a hug. It's like, girl, you're the one that opened your legs up I don't know how many times. Like, don't get mad because he's just showed up for the morning. Like, be grateful that kid got 2-3 minutes with the baby daddy,
And
like
the
with
kid
the
was
father.
happy.
The kid was happy.
Happy to see. You could see it was nothing really wrong. Like the kid didn't seem
It
like
was
it
just
was
the
missing
mom.
too much. It was you could
I'm
tell it was the
like-
mom's energy, you know. But
I was like, I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand it. Like, we're using these children as tools. We're using them as, like, you know, you don't give me money or you don't take them and
You
I
don't see
want
'em.
them, so you don't get to see them. I'm like, girl, you look like an absolute moron out there just shouting at him because he came in the morning to send his kid off to school. Like, good Christ. It drives me crazy. There's no protection for the kids at all. The kids are not put first at all in so many instances. It's crazy.
It's fucking powerful stuff, this, mate, you know.
I know.
Your perspective on it, I'm just like, fucking
different,
hell. Once
yeah.
you open up that, fucking, the monster's going to come out.
I know.
You just got to go and talk, man. You've got to, like, share this
I know.
perspective,
definitely.
Yeah.
haven't you?
Yeah.
You've got to do it on your own podcast, invite people on.
Yeah.
But
it's
you're
definitely-
the voice of it, Sarah, just the way you talk, mate. I've already told you that.
Yeah.
I'm just
I know.
like, okay, because you're brutal. I'm just like, read this fucking email. Read this email she just sent.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, doesn't an email like that?
Yeah,
love
yeah.
it. I love it.
Yeah. I mean, I think
Because you always know
people-
what you're getting from you, mate. Always
Yeah.
know what you're getting. You're always up front. You know,
Yeah.
you're a lady of your word.
Yeah.
Few
I
and far
don't really
between that.
care about
Yeah.
people's opinions because half of the
That's it.
time I'm not here to pat no one's back. I'm here to help the little kid. I see the kids and I'm just like, I feel for them, honestly. I might not be the best parent, but my kids can express themselves freely. They have what they need. It's like me and my daughter, my oldest daughter is from someone else. We don't get along at all. We can't even talk to each other for 2 minutes without it being a fight. And this has been since she was 4 or 5. So the first thing I done when she was 5 is buy her a phone. And I said, here you go. This is for you to talk to your daddy because I don't want to deal with his toxic ass. So I'm gonna, but I'm not gonna keep you from your father. He doesn't have to respect me, but at least speak to your child. You know, that whole narrative of, oh, if he can't respect me, he's not gonna respect your child. That's wrong. It's absolutely wrong. Because my daughter's father doesn't respect me, not an ounce. He doesn't help an ounce, never has. But he is very respectful to my daughter. He talks to my daughter every day. And, you know, I used to battle my daughter and say, oh, your daddy doesn't help me. And she was like, he doesn't help you, but he provides me with the emotional support that I need. And I was like, ooh. And she was young. She wasn't even 10 telling me this shit. And I was like, oh, okay. So, you know, and that's when I learned. I was like, you know what? Sometimes we're asking too much of them and the kid has enough. The kid has what they need, you know? And if it's about
Beautiful,
your kid.
mate. Beautiful.
Yeah, if it's
Yeah,
about
man.
your kid,
I
sometimes
like
you
that.
just need a,
Just
you know,
take a
if you
step
don't
back.
get along with your child's father, buy your child a phone so they can contact their father. Whether you think they need it or they don't, they need their father. This generation is fucked because so many kids
Yeah,
don't
get
have
in
their
the way of
father.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of mums are like, no, you can't talk because you've got that toxic thing. You're like,
Oh, he don't pay child support, or he don't take you when I need him to, or
He's got a new girlfriend or something.
But you opened your legs. You're the one that's in charge of getting pregnant. There's more ways not to get pregnant than there are to get pregnant. So at some point you need to suck it up and take the responsibility for the fact that you've opened your legs too much or to the wrong person. And you have to deal with some of the toxicity that comes with it. Or buy your kid a phone and let your kid talk to the parent. And if he wants to show up at the school for 2 minutes and that's the only thing he does, that's good enough for the kid, Might not be good enough for you, but maybe you're expecting more than what the kid's expecting.
What else are you going to talk about?
I know. I could talk all day.
I know, but what else? What other subjects? What other topics? Subjects, right? What other topics are you going to be talking about?
What about these what about these kids that are out late at night? Why can't they pack groceries? You ever go to the grocery store and those lines take so long because you got one person that's offloading the grocery cart and then they have to then go pack the bag? If these grocery stores, you don't have to hire them, you're not paying them a wage, but if you allow these school students, say 11 years old and older, to go stand at the end of the till, pack the groceries, and people give them a little tip, whether it's your change, £1, £2, they make, I packed groceries from the age 11 to I was 18, and I was able to save $30,000. That was back home.
Yeah, 30,
I had enough to buy myself a car or down payment for a house or any of that. Now, my daddy made me save every single penny. I wasn't allowed to spend a damn dime, which that was a little depressing. And after a while, I got sneaky and started saving a little bit myself. But, if you allow these kids to pack groceries, they would be able to go buy themselves a new pair of football shoes or, save up for their future or get themselves some food. So many kids you see riding the bike 9, 10 o'clock at night. But instead of fining parents for taking their children out on a trip holiday, why don't you find these parents as allowing the kids to stay out past 8 o'clock at night and they're not even like 13? Let's shift the focus. Let's give these kids something that they could do or work towards or look forward to. I strongly feel like allowing children at 11 years old to start packing groceries, putting the food in the bag for people, it will give them some sort of work ethic. So when they get to those teenage years, they are able to know, like, hey, I can make money, I can save money, I have a head start. Because sometimes we're telling these children they can't work till they're 14, 15, and then they finish high school at 16, and they don't know what the hell to do. They're confused, the left to the right. You know what I mean? Let them pack a little groceries. You're not paying them a wage. People's tipping them. I know culturally people find tipping so off, but if you know that they're not making a wage, and you give them even your 50 pence, 70 pence a pound, £2,
adds up.
It adds up at the end of the night.
What else? Give me another one. Give me another topic.
Suicide, real quick.
Yes.
Give it me.
I've noticed coming over here, even in the area
in the
we
news
are,
all the time.
it's always someone committing suicide, some sort of mental health reason or situation they're going through, but it just, I guess, gets too much, and they end themselves. It needs to be something in place where that person could go or come to vent and basically have something in place to help this person. I don't feel anything should get that bad where it's I just want to slice my wrist, I just want to drown myself. It's got to be something, because we're losing people. We're losing young people. When you check, it says young people, older people. It's just people. So it needs to be something in place, because even with the youth that we're trying to target, they're the future. So they're going to be the ones running it. Some of them are so scared of the parents, scared to, because you tell the school, and the first thing the school wants to do is put you in social services, and that's a whole rigor on. That's a problem.
That's the worst case scenario. So many young people, or just people generally, they're afraid to bring up their issues, because bringing up your issues automatically deems you as incapable, and it automatically deems you as, oh, you need help. And it's like, yes, you might need help, but not help that you're being taken away or you've been withdrawn of all your privileges, you know. And places to be, they do offer support. Or not, you don't need a parent, you don't need anyone over 18. You can just call them and they do offer support. However, when you deal with suicide, yes, a lot of times these organizations, they want to go to the school, they want to go social services. I think
need to talk to someone sometimes, don't you?
Yeah, you
Right?
just need,
Just
and
to get
who's
it off
not
my
going to
chest.
judge
I
you.
need to get it out of my head.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that's all it is.
You know how many times me or Debbie just nothing to even do with you guys.
Yeah.
And I'm just very, she's like,
Betty, this
Betty,
is what's happened.
this is, yeah. She's like, okay, you know, but sometimes you just have to let it out.
Yeah.
And there needs to be someone that, you know, that will listen to you and take it in. And I mean, for anyone that is feeling like that, they can always email us. Our email's on the website. I'm more than happy to be support to people, because I know what it's like. I've never wanted to commit suicide, but I've helped my mom, who's tried to commit suicide multiple times. And it's just because, you know, you see life is hard, but life is hard for every single person. And sometimes you don't believe that. Sometimes you don't think it's hard. Sometimes people think, oh, you're a business owner, it's not hard for you. No, actually, it's fucking harder for me. But at the same time, I've learned the mechanism to, you know, not work, but handle these things.
Yeah,
and sometimes people just need the tools to learn how to handle it. Sometimes they just need to know that there are people that care for you. You know, when your parents or the schools are busy drilling you every day and do this and do that and do it my way and you don't feel loved. You don't feel like you're cared for. You don't feel like you're enough. What about the parents that want the kids to be lawyers and doctors and all those fantastic things? And you have people outright going and getting degrees based on what their parents want. And then they spend a lifetime unhappy at the job. That's why you have so many teachers that hate teaching. You have so many teachers that hate teaching, but that's because they were told by the parents, you need to go teach. You need to be a teacher. That's where the money's at. That's where this is at. So they go and teach. Now you have a bunch of teachers who don't enjoy the job and they just teach kids. And the kids feed off of that. So then the kids hate going to class because, oh, that teacher's grumpy, or that teacher's... You know, she don't talk to us respectful. She don't like teaching. You know, it's a full effect. But yeah, suicide is definitely one of those things where it's very common, and it's just because people are finding it easier to give up than to try. And it's just, for me, it's like life is worth living. You just have to learn how to combat these stresses every day, instead of waking up and saying, oh, nothing negative is going to happen. Wake up every day and say, okay, what shit do I have to face? Because something's going to come my way. You know, you wake up with that mindset. For me, anyway, it's just easier to attack. I know every single day something is going to throw me off, or something's going to be there that I need to handle that's going to be a little bit of pressure. So what is it? I'm ready for it, you know? It's pretty intense, but yeah, I do feel that, you know, suicide it needs to be addressed. There was like a mom who killed herself and her daughter because her daughter was like challenged or whatever. Yeah. That was sad. I mean, I can understand, you know, but maybe she just didn't have the right support. Maybe she wasn't told that there were other people like her. There's organizations that you can go to. Maybe she didn't have the funding or the sources to get there, you know? Because it happens more often than not. It's like, how do we attack these things? How do we address?
You've just got to do what you're doing, and you've got to amplify that message. You can't sort of... I always say it's like... Listen, if somebody's going through something sometimes and they're in the victim mentality that's within my circle, it's not for me to go and fix them. It's in order for me to raise my vibration so they come with me. Yeah. And I feel that you two have got to do your podcast and just get out these topics so people come and find you.
Yeah.
That's what you've got to do, is raise your vibration of TOD.
Yeah.
And people will find you at the right time.
Yeah. Thanks.
So for the minute, how do people find you? If they want to get hold of you, if they want to buy some merch, if they want to listen to the podcast, where do they go?
Tim's.
Yes.
Yes, I'm good.
So our website, you can go on topicofdiscussion.co.uk.
Yeah.
Our podcast is on Podbeam. We've not released it yet. I will announce that on the Instagram.
Well, it's not on Podbean, it's beyond Spotify and Apple Podcasts because
Yes.
Podbean is how you publish it. So search for Topic of Discussion on Spotify.
TOD Official UK
Yeah.
on Spotify. Yeah. And then if they want to get in contact with us to, network, podcasts, whatever, they can email us. It's they can either do that directly through our website on the contact us page, or it's info@topicofdiscussion.co.uk. I would like to get in contact with a solicitor, someone who's willing to challenge these school policies. I think that is
That's a start.
number one for me. I mean, I need to get on the podcast. That's number one. But a solicitor who is willing to actually challenge these these image-based policies. I understand uniforms, but no kids should be denied education over whatever. I don't care if their hair is half and half, bows on the socks, black sneakers, short haircuts, tattoos, all of that. No child should be denied an education at all. Nor should they be denied the bathroom break. So if I can get in contact with a solicitor who's willing to work with us to challenge these policies, I know that there will be thousands of people behind me to back me up, because there's so many parents that complain about it too. You have those parents that say, oh, I didn't get to use the bathroom either. And I'm like, are you crazy? So you would deny your basic human right and you're okay with it? Okay, well, you sit over there. But the rest of us, we actually want to get this dealt with, you know?
It's got to be fixed.
Yeah, definitely needs to be addressed. But we do appreciate you
Appreciate
helping
both
us.
of you.
Yeah.
Appreciate both and
You have
appreciate
been the
message.
vision. You have been a big part of the vision.
Yeah, appreciate it. It was nice for you both come in and just sort of reframing it, what the brand really is. You already knew that,
Yeah.
didn't you? I just kind of told you, all right, shit.
Yeah, just the reminder.
It's hard. I just think you've not been around the right people. I'm not going to get into that because I'm not even giving that negativity at the air, but you've just not been around the right people to give you the right vision.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of giving you here and now and kind of gone, need a website. Need it. And it's like, no, you don't.
Yeah,
you need to understand your brand and who we are and what we want to do. So
purpose.
we've got that now. We've got the purpose.
That.
We've got that.
Yes.
We just now need to put it into action. You know, it's all right manifesting and doing vision boards and getting that, but you know what I mean, without the action.
Yes, definitely know we need to be loud and get our message out there. We just need to say what everyone else is feeling and they won't say.
Yeah.
I feel that's just like the brand, isn't it? It's just everything's. Yeah, we're just gonna say what
you don't want to say it. I'll say it for you.
You can't say that.
I can't say that. Yes, you can.
we'll say
Gosh,
it.
someone needs to change. It's not gonna change until someone changes it.
Yeah.
You know. And
Appreciate you both.
thank you.
Thank
Thanks for listening, everybody.
Goodbye.
Tim Marner, what, you're branded with the best Tim Marner.